Hey, and thank you for clicking play. And this is, I'll think I'll release this as a bit of a midweek mini, actually. I just felt I wanted to do another video on ATF. I've been playing a lot of games, so I've got a lot of videos stacked up for the next few weeks. But I've had time to actually play ATF. My last video on it specifically was about the fact that I couldn't load it back in the day, had to take it back to the shop. And now I'm pleased to say that I was rightfully gutted back then, because this is a fantastic game. The reason I'm holding up F-16 Combat Pilot is because those of you that have been following me for a while will know that F-16 Combat Pilot is by far and away my favourite flight sim on the Amiga, and that's because of the depth of the campaign that you are involved in when you play it. Well, before that, there was this. Actually, I'm not, because this was available on the Spectrum as well, so don't quote me on the before that, but it's the same company, Digital Integration, who did ATF on the Spectrum. And again, it comes down to that depth of campaign that really draws you in, despite the simplistic graphics and the things that I was kind of moaning about on the last video. I'm going to swing you around. It's already loaded, and let's give it a play. Okay, there's barely room for me because it's all about, so I've moved the camera nice and close to the Spectrum and the screen on this occasion. Let's have a play. So basically, start game. You analyse the war data, and that basically tells us we've got some land forces identified, so that's going to be tanks. That's been entered into the database. So tanks and a factory. That's good to know. That's entered into the database. Anything else? The campaign's different every time. Now if you hold enter, that makes this map easier to read. Okay, so the pink is where our ATF is, our Advanced Tactical Fighter. That's the base we're at now. Green is friendly. Red is enemy, and I believe the red and green flashing ones are the targets that have just been identified. So we're going to fly all the way from here. That's going to be the closest one. Could go on to here and then hopefully get back to a base. We may discover another base along the way that we can land at. Okay. I tend to, there's the campaign as it starts. Everything's 50-50. I tend to load up on cannons. I'm playing it on easy. I ignore the ASRAM. They're basically manually guided, whereas these are, they're a BVR, Beyond Visual Range, fire and forget missile, the Mavericks in this game. So I tend to load up on fuel, and then whatever's left I give myself the Mavericks. That seems to work best for me on this level of play. Off we go. Now before I take off, I go into my computer. So if we press C, first of all, last time I played I said this wasn't doing anything. If you press N to change missile type, it does actually change. Obviously I don't have any of those, so we'll leave it on the Mavericks. Your thrust obviously goes up and then your speed catches up with it. The more you take damage, the slower your aircraft becomes until it will stall. So that's sort of the damage mechanism. We've got the map here, we've got the world map here, but watch the world map when I press C to enter into computer mode. So we're in computer mode now. That's the friendly stuff, but if I press D, then that's the enemy stuff. Okay, now we haven't got a lock on this, they haven't identified any of those, but now if I press E to cycle through the types of enemies, tanks, so there we go, or land forces shall we say. So there's one only 96 miles, I assume this is, or kilometers away at a bearing of 90, so that's probably the first target we'll take out. And then if we go F and R, that will cycle through in the same category any others, but it hasn't found any others. Hear that ticking? Hasn't found any others. If we go E again, hasn't found any ships, hasn't found any radar bases. It has found a factory. I think it would be a good idea to take out that factory. So let's take out those land forces, then we'll take out the factory, then we'll try and return to base. That's not too far away either, 112. And is there any more? No, so it's just those two. But as you fly across the landscape, your aircraft identifies other enemy targets. So it builds that database up as you're kind of doing reconnaissance as you go, which is cool. So we're going to go for that ground target. It's at 90. So our heading is here. The target that we've selected, it says to press enter to lock on, but it doesn't seem to do anything. So our target information is here, so you don't have to look down here all the time. Our target is 90 and it's 96 away, and we're currently on a heading of 0, so we need to turn right to a heading of 90. So we need to take off first, obviously. Pull back on the stick, undercarriage up, and I do press T for terrain hugging, because why not? It's an advanced tactical fighter. And as an Air Force pilot that I met on a plane once said to me, the robots fly a lot better than we do. There's literally his words. He's an ex-Harrier pilot. Right. So we're going right, 90. 122. Obviously, because we're close to it, the angle's going to keep changing until we line up. And of course, you've got to cope with things coming up behind you at the same time. And things coming up in front. So it's not quite as easy as you think. So where are we? 125. It's 67 away. Once it gets under 50, I can probably launch my missile, because it's a BVR missile. I'm getting hit. Yep. So that should say hit and destroyed. Enemy target hit and destroyed. Some will take 2, so ships tend to take 2. Right. So that's good. I'm just going to try and get away from this guy, and now he's got another one behind me. You don't want to take too much damage, obviously. Should go without saying. Okay, so back into my database categories here. I'm going to change that to factory, which is there. That's only 45 away. So I'm not sure what that map was telling me earlier, but anyway. As soon as I'm turning this way, I might as well continue. I'm going to slow down a bit, otherwise I'm just going to overshoot. I'm just going to be circling around it, basically. Is it in that direction? No, it's not. Just wasted a missile. 185. 189. I'm at 135. 194. 195. Okay, about there. 57, 54, 52. And I'm launching. I don't know how many it's going to take to kill a factory. That was... Okay, it's gone. Enemy target hit and destroyed. So now we want to change here to our friendly stuff by pressing D. And I want to find our base. There we go. There's... Oh, got an enemy missile coming in. Press J, and that will tell us we've jammed it. So that beep is an enemy missile coming in from a SAM site. And we jammed it. So we want to change to a heading of 88 to go back to our home base. Oh no, 282. Sorry, I keep looking at the wrong thing. So 282 is probably going to be quicker to go. Oh, it's about half and half really. I'm going to turn this way. We're at 104 away from it. Can I press L for automatic landing? Yes. So now the computer's taken over. I can't do anything. And what you do have to remember to do is put the undercarriage down yourself. Otherwise the computer will quite happily just destroy you by crashing undercarriage up into the runway. Right, we're lined up. I think this dot is our base. I'm going to hit the undercarriage. Undercarriage is down. I did that just as it prompted me. And there we go. So we're taken back to the menu. We have not lost a life. We've done a successful mission. And what will happen is, as we move on, is some more stuff has been identified, and we will continue the missions until we win the campaign. Also, just starting the next mission here, and it's like the Blair Witch camp. A few more things on the computer that I didn't cover before is you've got the world map, you've got the databases like I said before, you've also got your weapon status in there as well. Doesn't tell you in there which weapon you got selected, but that's fine. And you've got your power, so as you take damage and stuff, obviously those stats are going to change. Off I go on another one. Just finished another mission, and it's saying no new enemy installations is what it just said there, and you decode and it's all green on the screen, and there's nothing on the board. So have I just beaten it? Let's have a look. Strategic Allied victory. I think I've just beaten it. Score 5638. Into your name. Doesn't like that. That's 00S. Where am I? 4th place. There you go. Hang on, I need to swing this. I've just beaten it. What have I beaten? Oh, it's up on the shelf again. I've just beaten it. I've just beaten it. ATF. How long did that take? Well, it took, nearly 40 years, as I've said before. But it didn't really take that long. The machine's been on most of the day, since about, most of the day on a weekend, and I'd say, I don't know, maybe about an hour and a half's worth of playtime, maybe 8 missions. I wasn't counting, I wasn't expecting to beat it, but that was on easy. I love this. I am so pleased. Yes, it took way too long to get a working version, or to get it to work on my +3, but I absolutely love this. This is fantastic, and what I like about it is everything that was promised in the magazine article I remember reading as a kid is there. The frame rate, the speed, the feeling of immersion. But what you do through the campaign really does feel like it's affecting the campaign. Take out the enemy air bases, and it seems like you're up against less aircraft, is how it feels perception-wise. Take out their radar units, maybe there's less SAM activity. Maybe drawing wrong conclusions, but that's certainly how it feels to affect the gameplay. Take out the factories, and it doesn't, then the enemy can't replenish their forces. Great. And managing your missiles versus your fuel. Couple of missions I basically chose to abort after taking out one target because I had too much damage, and it was like, well, I'm not going to survive this. One mission I took off, hit the side of a hill, damaged my aircraft, so I just circled round and landed again. Those kind of things. All that in an 8-bit game. It's actually quite stunning. If you haven't played ATF, give it a go. Quite an in-depth game for an 8-bit game. I really enjoyed it, but now obviously I have to try and beat it on a much harder setting. Thanks for watching.